He thought his life was ordinary, predictable, complete until a single letter shattered every assumption he held. Sitting in his quiet apartment, Michael unfolded the envelope with casual curiosity, expecting nothing more than a mundane note. But the moment he read the first line, the room seemed to tilt. The air grew heavier, and a truth he had never imagined stared him in the face. A name he barely recognized, a connection he never knew existed, and a small, innocent child waiting. Somewhere in the world turned his structured life upside down. Nothing would ever be the same. Michael Turner had always believed he understood his life. Every detail, every decision, every relationship was calculated, precise, controlled. His apartment overlooked the city skyline, a grid of lights and order that mirrored his own routine. His work as a financial analyst demanded perfection, and he delivered it without compromise. Nothing disrupted his carefully constructed world, or so he thought. It was a rainy Thursday afternoon when the letter arrived. No return address, no official seal, just a thin cream envelope with his name written in elegant, unfamiliar handwriting. He set it on the table, barely glancing at it at first, thinking it a prank or misdirected correspondence. But something tugged at him. A subtle, unshakable instinct told him to open it. Inside, a single sheet of paper held words that seemed impossibly simple at first. "I don't know how to reach you, but you need to know. She's been waiting to meet you." Michael froze. She. Waiting. The words blurred as disbelief and curiosity collided. He had no children. He had never been told of any past responsibility beyond fleeting relationships, none that demanded a second thought. And yet, the letter insisted on a reality he could not ignore. Days passed. And Michael could not remove the letter from his mind. His precise routines faltered. Coffee cooled untouched. Meetings ended with him staring out of the window, tracing the blurred city lights. He didn't know who had sent it, where she was, or why he felt an unfamiliar, sharp pulse of fear mixed with longing. Finally, he acted. The letter included an address, a small community center on the outskirts of the city, unassuming. Quiet. The kind of place that promised nothing yet held everything. Michael drove through the rain, gripping the steering wheel as though it were a lifeline. His mind raced with possibilities. It could be a hoax, a misunderstanding, a cruel joke, and yet, beneath the fear, hope crept in, fragile and unsteady. When he arrived, the center was busy with children, laughter spilling into the hallways. He stepped cautiously inside, eyes scanning the room, heart pounding like an untrained drum. And then he saw her, a little girl, standing near the corner, holding a worn teddy bear. Her hair was dark like his, her eyes wide and searching. She looked up, and in that instant, recognition ignited, not just for him, but in her. She ran unafraid, straight into his arms, as if instinct alone guided her. Michael held her, trembling, overwhelmed. Questions surged. How long had she been waiting? Who had kept this from him? Why hadn't he known? But none of that mattered in the moment. The only truth was the small, warm body clinging to him, trusting him entirely. "I've been looking for you," she whispered, voice small but certain. Michael's knees weakened. He had never heard anyone call him that before, and yet the words, soft, innocent, unfiltered, shattered every certainty he had clung to. He had spent decades avoiding entanglements, avoiding responsibility, believing himself unprepared for life's chaos. And now chaos had found him, but it was alive and breathing. And it needed him. Over the next weeks, Michael learned everything he had missed. Her name was Lily. She was 7 years old, bright, curious, fiercely independent, and completely unafraid to challenge him. She told him about school, her favorite stories, the small triumphs and setbacks that shaped her days. And she told him about the letter's countless attempts to reach him, carefully delivered to people who knew him, to neighbors who didn't, to friends who had long forgotten his past relationships. Sarah, her mother, had protected him, kept him at a distance. She had feared his absence, feared the certainty he had once prided himself on would crumble under the weight of responsibility. And in many ways, she had been right. Michael was not ready. But readiness, he realized, was an illusion. Life demanded action, presence, and courage, not perfection, as the weeks turned into months. Michael and Lily began building a fragile routine. Morning breakfasts, school drop-offs, homework sessions filled with giggles and arguments, bedtime, stories read aloud with dramatic flair. Each small moment carried immense weight. Each smile, each hug, each burst of laughter was a reminder of what he had never known and what he would never let go of again. But life refused simplicity. Questions of the past surfaced with relentless persistence. Michael had to face not only the reality of Lily's existence, but the choices he had made that allowed this separation to happen. The guilt was raw, sometimes unbearable, pressing into his chest during quiet moments. But Lily, with her relentless curiosity and unfiltered honesty, reminded him daily that presence mattered more than blame. Then came the first public test. A school recital crowded with parents and guardians, each eager to see their child perform. Michael arrived early, nervous, a father in name, but still learning the depth of responsibility in practice. Lily spotted him immediately, her small hand waving confidently. But before he could respond, another child approached, tugging at his sleeve. "Are you really?" The boy whispered, wide-eyed, almost reverent. Michael looked down, recognition sparked in him again. Another child knew, and the ripple effect of truth began to spread. By the time Lily finished her performance, half the audience knew, and Michael was no longer a man who could slip quietly into routine. He was visible. His life had changed irreversibly, but the change was not chaos. It was meaning. It was connection. It was a purpose he had never imagined, wrapped in a small, unyielding presence that demanded nothing but his attention and love. Months passed, seasons changed, and Michael found himself transformed. The corporate towers and endless spreadsheets, once the symbols of his control and certainty, now felt hollow in comparison. He had learned to navigate unpredictability, to find joy in small victories, to celebrate a life lived not by plan but by presence. Lily flourished in his care, thriving with the security and consistency he provided. And Michael flourished in ways numbers could never measure. One rainy afternoon, mirroring the day the letter had arrived, Michael sat with Lily in their small apartment, watching droplets race down the windows. She leaned against him, head resting on his shoulder. "I'm glad you came," she said softly. Michael smiled, feeling the weight of every lost moment lift slightly. "Me too," he whispered. I'm never leaving again." And in that simple, quiet affirmation, he found the clarity he had spent a lifetime chasing. Life was no longer about certainty or control. It was about love, presence, and the unshakable truth that some things, once found, are worth every risk, every mistake, every late night of doubt. Michael had opened the letter expecting nothing, and it had given him everything. Don't miss the emotional journey of a man who's carefully controlled. Life is turned upside down by a single letter. Watch as Michael discovers the unexpected truth that changes everything: love, family, and the meaning of presence. Witness the tender, heartwarming moments, the challenges of newfound responsibility, and the unbreakable bond between a father and a child he never knew existed. Click to experience a story that will make you laugh, cry, and feel every emotion in between. Subscribe now and join us as we explore the power of family, second chances, and life's beautiful surprises.